Hello friends, family, and other creatures of the sea. Welcome back to a high-level Zerg versus Terran here with Solar in the bottom left versus Maru in the top right. Teammates, friends, brothers, both South Korean of course, as this is the second semi-finals of the KSL Summer, the tournament I've been covering on this channel over the past, what is it, a week and a half or so. I've been having a blast. I hope you've been having a blast too, of course. As always, a big shout out to the guys hosting it, Chicken Man and Dave Testa. And here we have the double barracks coming out of Maru, as we have seen so often as of late. Just in general, this strategy is really popular right now at the highest level of Terran versus Zerg. Although, as always with strategies in the meta, it goes up and it goes down. It flows and it ebbs. And right now, I think we've pretty much reached its peak. I think most Zerg players have a very good understanding at this point of how to fight it, how to play against it. And as a result, we're going to see less and less of it. There's some Zergs that have found some type of counter to it with a gasless opener. They feel very comfortable with that. We've seen some 2-base roach builds against it as well that have been quite powerful. So yeah, we're just going to have to wait and see exactly how this strategy is going to develop over the next few months. But I do believe that yeah, we're past its peak right now. You know, literally every Terran in the entire world has played it at this point, some way or the other. And yeah, it does feel like it's losing a little bit of momentum. Maru's still a very big fan of it. Beyond still seems to be a very big fan of it. But even Beyond has switched out of it every now and again. As this first Reaper is going to make it across the map. And it's going to try and kill some of these links. 4 more links, of course, on the way. It's important that none of these links end up dying. You want to grow that link count as quickly as you can. And then not have to build any more extra. So the moment the queens come out, which is happening right now, first queen pops out, immediately starts with an inject over here. So we have a creep tumor on the high ground. Queens are going to be responsible for stopping these Reapers from dealing too much damage. And then in about a minute from now, speed, 50-ish seconds, speed is going to finish up here. And with speed finished up, these Reapers should be in a little bit of trouble. Just a single queen in position for now, as the 3 Reapers are trying to deal some damage against it. Are going to get quite a bit of health chipped away from that queen. As Solar's going to push forward right now. Next creep tumor can be built as well. That means that these rotations defensively are going to be much easier here for our Zerg player. Meanwhile, we see 2 more barracks coming out of Maru, so it's going to be a 4x follow-up. Creep tumor does get thrown down. Triple queens go to the high ground. Link's now moving in position, perhaps to defend the mineral line. Not going to be necessary. So, yeah, these Reapers have really achieved nothing. Like, really just absolutely nothing at all. Have they killed anything? No, killed absolutely 0 here. So in that case, all they really did is force out 10 links, which, I mean, I guess it's 6 more links than you usually get. So technically you killed 3 drones, but you're delaying your own CC by quite a bit. You don't have the ability to go on the map with Hellions. The one thing that is always nice with this build is the fact that you can deny some scouting. So Solar is fairly unaware as to what is kicking off right now. But at the same time, Solar already has a very high drone count. So if Solar just sits back, relaxes, gets his stuff up, he's going to be just fine. Gets a bunch of queens out. There's 6 already. 2 more on the way. It's going to go up to 45 drones. Even adding a couple more. Needs to be somewhat careful though. Needs to be somewhat careful that he doesn't just end up losing straight up to whatever push Maru is going to end up sending out on the map here. Factory now on the way behind this, as there's a lot of Marines just waiting for something, and I guess it's going to be the perfect time out, or the perfect time to move out right now. Solar does spot this, builds 18 links instantly, is on 52 workers, which is fairly high, has 8 queens with a 9th on the way. Gonna have to wait and see how this is all gonna pan out. There's just so much freaking supply for Solar, which is what scares me for Maru here. Maru following this up with most likely a 2-base all-in. Double Evo chambers coming down for Solar as well. Right now, no Baneling Nest. Please do pay attention to that. No Baneling Nest at all. Link count, however, continues to grow. Up to 40 right now. The next set of larvae pops. And that means we're going to see, what, 14 more links in production. We have a couple more larvae. Yep, make that 26. No forward base yet here for Solar. That might be a bad thing. But it almost feels like Solar can just straight up go for this. If there's ever a single stim here coming out of Maru, I think Solar's going to be in a fantastic position to just kind of catch this army. I mean, 66 links against 25 Marines. Surely that's not going to be enough for the Marines. Reaper's trying to get some information here. Not quite getting it. Not quite getting it. Now we get that continued drone production. Of course, Solar wants a fort base to go down. Maru down in workers, down in supply. Does have his first 2 medevacs popping out. As we're not going to see a 2-base on him, we have a 5th barracks on the way. I think this factory is going to pop over towards that tech lab to start building a couple of those tanks. No! Well, it's going to remain on the reactor here. That is interesting. Not quite what I had expected. We have a second eBay as well as an armory being thrown down. Maru is moving towards the left side. All of this is being spotted though here by Solar, who now says, hey, can I fight this? I don't think he can. Right side being attacked by a single Marine. Maru gambled on the left side to have the fort base, and that's not the case. Big stim coming forward. The scan is going to reveal a bunch of these creep tumors here. As in the first 11 Banes now morph. Centrifugal hooks just started as the layer had finished up. Ling here for spotting purposes, of course. Not quite going to see that 3rd CC. That would have been some nice confirmation. Would have been some real nice confirmation. Don't forget, the queen count is extremely high. But honestly, so is the marine count. As long as centrifugal hooks isn't done quite yet, Solar could still be in some trouble. I'd love to see a little bit of a Ling run by. Or just a single Ling going in for a scout would also be very helpful already. So that's what this Ling is doing right now. It's not quite going to find that medevac. This is a 4 mine drop. Do we have a spore here? No, we don't. Mining off of, well, potentially 5 gases, as 1-1 has finished up. Plus 2 carapace starts immediately. There's just not enough drones. Simply not enough drones. Solar up 25 supply. Up 1 upgrade. Needs to wait for centrifugal hooks before he can really do something. Here comes the mine drop. Solar not paying attention here for quite a while. Loses 10 drones. It's gonna lose some more in the natural if he ain't careful. Okay. It's going to be in time there with the drone pool in the natural. Loses 1 or 2 more. It's not really the end of the world. There's some good burrow on burrow action here coming out of our good friend Maru. Maru with some decent damage. Hasn't really fought at all. This has been an extremely passive game. Maru's just been sitting back and letting his reputation do the work here. That must be real nice. That must actually be real nice. He hasn't put on any serious pressure. He's just on the map. He's waiting to strike. And now this might be the opportunity. Big stim forward. We see a scan as well. It's gonna take out once again. Couple of drones. 1 or 2 of these creep tumors as well. Queen's trying to move forward. A little bit slow with that target fire. 1 more mine is going to hit as well. As this spore is... it's gonna get taken out. Will do a decent chunk of damage here. Look at how low that medevac went. Almost died. 1 shot away from dying. Link's now trying to go in for a run by. That will not be successful. There's plenty of Marines. There's a couple of mines as well in position. This is going to get stopped. 2 medevacs will get sent straight into the Queens. A sacrifice for your majesty. Yes, these 2 medevacs will die. 2 mines still alive here. Actually, a couple of mines in the back as well. As there's very little creep. This is a nice attack path here for Maru. Just kind of ping-ponging in between the main and that fort base. The main and the fort base. Once a second army gets on the map, that could be highly inconvenient here for Solar, because that means he'll need to split his own army into 3 parts. Now we have a, what is this, a mine drop? Yeah, another mine drop coming in right now. Is there drilling claws even? There is drilling claws indeed. That explains a thing or two. As +2 is about to finish up for Maru, and 2-2 is about to finish up here for Solar. So Solar still going to be up 1 upgrade, is getting the Hydralisk out right now. As this Ling Bane run by killed a couple of workers. We'll take out a bunch of these depots as well. Now this Hydra then potentially in some trouble. Well, it's dead, so definitely in some trouble. Same time this command center is being attacked, and Maru is not quite lifting it yet. Here we go, moving forward. That's a lot of Widow Mines, and there's just not enough Hydras to really deal with this. Overseers being sniped. Okay. Well, the forward mines at least have been taken out. 1 more big mine shot is going to connect with those Lings and Banes. As the worker count right now is 71 to 75. It feels like Solar's just struggling so hard in this game, trying to get a 5th base up, but he hasn't been capable of it. Has not tagged into high VR either. Is now trying to rebuild his Hydra then. As these mines, once again, pretty big shot there at the very end of that engagement. And for what feels like the 6th or 7th time, we see these triple medevacts just boosting in towards the main and then eventually pissing back, back off. Might be capable of actually sniping these Banes. Yeah, there we go. That was 1-2. Will be forced into picking up and leaving. As these Hydras will clear that mine. Get spotted by that mine. 5th base is going to get taken out. This is the second army I was talking about earlier. This is going to be a massive issue for Solar because he isn't really ready for it. Did not have a split of army for this quite yet prepared. And as a result, we now see quite a bit of damage being dealt here. There's no Hydras at all to deal with these medevacts, and that's one of the issues. Overseer is going to get cleared. Big scan forward, sees that there's a hive on the way. No lurker then yet, though. This was a stim into a pickup. At the same time, this army is still somewhat alive. Couple of Marines. We have the double mines going in once more. Spore Crawler semi in position. Really just semi in position. It's going to help out a little bit and will be nice with spotting as well. I think this mine is out of range of that Spore Crawler. Yes, it is. It's going to burrow, unburrow real fast. Was a little bit too late with that unburrow though. Did already shoot. We now have the Marines moving in towards the middle. As another army gets sent towards the far right side. We have the double medevac drop still in that space as well. So there's just a lot of threats around the map right now where I don't think Maru is ever going to use these drops no more. And at the same time just kind of pushing forward. The only thing he could use these drops for is just joining up with the army that is pushing currently. His 5th base is going to get cancelled for a second time. Earlier it was up top, now it was here in the bottom. Doesn't matter because it's not going to finish up. Maru is building his own 5th CC. This is also fairly slow. But at the same time, he's getting 3-3. He's getting Marauder production started. I'd love to see a Ghost Academy at some point as well, just in case. As this double medevac drop finally gets cleaned up. Tank in the far back is going to siege as well. Here comes Solar. This is the type of fight he's real good at. Look at those links. Well, that last mine shot is going to connect with a bit more. But the initial link sending was freaking beautiful. We have another big army here on the top side of the map. As Maru continues to multitask. Look at the speed that this guy is playing with as well, by the way. 446 on average for a Terran player. That's extremely high. As they don't have the Zergling production to boost their APM like the Zergs do. 4 mines here sieging up on Creep. Creep is disappearing. Here comes a single parasitic bomb. No, there's no actual energy available. It's a little bit surprising. Stims in. Gonna snipe one Hydra, picks up and pisses off. Poof! Ooh, that was a big hit. Couple of big hits there. As we still have a double drop here on the bottom side, making sure there's no 5th. I mean, Maru doesn't really need to push in too hard right now because there is no 5th. It's like, well, I'm gonna be outmining you fairly soon. I'm gonna add 2 more command centers as well. As long as I'm trading semi-efficiently, how are you gonna deal with that? And I think the answer is you can't. You simply cannot deal with this. Viper still doesn't have energy for anything useful, like a parasitic bomb, or maybe even a blinding cloud can sometimes be quite good on those bio units. Yeah, Maru's having a blast here. Flying this command center over towards the 5th. That means that he's more likely to start mining from that 5th a bit quicker than his opponent. This bottom base is gonna get taken out. Solar gets put back to 3 bases total. This is only half a mining base. This is half a mining base. And this is half a mining base, so really just 1.5 mining base right now. The only fully mining base that was there for Solar just gets blasted. That's going to definitely have an impact here on that eco. As we see 1300 minerals a minute versus 2900 in favor of Maru. Parasitic bomb is going to connect. 1 medevac die, 2nd medevac most likely will fall as well. Yep, there we go. Marauders are going to survive. As we have 150 supply against 134. GG gets called, Solar realizes it's no point. And Maru takes map number 1 on Ancient Cistern. That is just one of these beautiful things to me, is that no matter how bad the early game looks for Maru, no matter how bad it feels, he's always kind of capable of just pulling it back, and honestly just with very patient play. I'm also glad to see that in the past, it felt like that Maru would often, if his early game didn't go so well, would just go into massive turtling mode, right? Start pumping tanks out. This time though, when the early game didn't go brilliant, just started adding in more mines and played an actually relatively active style with lots of dropping, a very active Maru. And this is the Maru that I enjoy the most personally. I'm not sure if that's when he's at his best, but I mean, he felt pretty darn powerful to me. So I'm gonna have to wait and see how he's going to continue on over here. As we have our good friend Solar coming in with the Overlord Scout. Figuring out once more that it's going to be a double Rax Reaper. This time just going to be 2 Reapers perhaps? No? 3rd Reaper still on the way? Yep, 3rd Reaper still on the way. And then a 3rd CC, or sorry, 3rd CC, a natural CC coming down. It's a nice little setup here for Maru. Solar opening up with a 28 hatchery. Which is also known, of course, as the Clash opener. Rather than the 30 hatchery, which used to be super popular back in the day and lost a little bit of its popularity. This build, slightly faster hatch. As there's 6 lings out already, 2 more on the way. First ling about to fall, but the queen pops out just in time. Solar played it careful enough. Now we see the creep tumor being pushed forward here. And we have a factory on the way too, so that's all very interesting. That's all very interesting indeed, my friends. We have these Reapers about to pop out. Pop up, I should say. This queen is under some heavy fire. Monarchies worldwide in general are under fire. People starting to realize that, you know, maybe it's not the ultimate system. It's having the authoritarian figure being born into their function. That's the nice thing about StarCraft 2, isn't it? Is that there's so many queens that just being one queen is kind of meaningless. You know, it's not like the mothership. The mothership is a little bit too powerful. There's too much. But here, all these queens, you know, they share a little bit of responsibility. As here, Solar complains about the brokenness of the Reapers. This means queens are too weak versus Reapers. Actually, 2 Reapers went down, so that might actually be an okay trade. 2 Reapers versus 1 queen, I think that's okay. Yeah, I can dig it. Reapers keep some of their function in like well into the mid game. You know, they're quite useful still. It's not like they're completely useless the moment they hit the mid game. 30C finishes up, and it means it's gonna land. Ooh, what is this? Oh no, it's gonna do something stupid, isn't he? It's always you that has to do something stupid, isn't it? It's always you. It's going to be a 4 mine drop. Now, I don't think this is going to be with an armory. And the follow-up should be probably another medevac. There's an interesting build order. Not great against roaches, but pretty darn great against non-roaches. Because it just gives you a lot of, you know, power out on the map here. It really does. He's gonna move out with these marines. This is obviously a fake. Like, this ain't real, this marine push out. Doesn't look real, at least. The 4 mine drop is now moving out, and indeed we see the Swapperino. It's going to be a reactor. No. Double medevac into a tech lab. Okay, so a tank follow-up here coming out of Maru. Different from what he did last game. There are some gnarly tank positions on this map. As the marine push out. I mean, this is as fake as it gets, you know? This is as fake as it gets. Links are in production. We have 63 workers here for Solar, and the 4 mine drop is heading in towards the main. Spore Crawler in a beautiful position. We'll start taking this out. 2 mines are going to land here. And that means that 1 queen will fall. The next 2 mines in towards the natural. A bunch of mining time lost on top of that as well. Let's not forget about that. And there goes the 2nd queen. Mine's going to survive with a boost available. That means that this medevac is going to stay alive. This was a very positive trade here for Maru, who's now flying in with double medevacs. Is he going to go for the fort base, or is he going to go for the main? I don't know yet. It's going to be the main as he boosts in. This Overlord's going to get taken out. There's no Banes that are ready. Queens are not in position. Lings are not in position. Yes, there is no combat shield, but just pure Marine versus pure Ling usually is quite okay. We're gonna see a quick pickup as everything has arrived at this point. This fort base is going to be the next target, as this will be the first tank that pops out right now. 91 supply to 98. 63 workers to 53. There is not that much production here for Maru. That means the moment he loses any Marines at this point, it's going to be difficult for him to, you know, reproduce them at a rapid pace. He's adding those extra barracks. It's going up to 8 racks actually, so it's going to be, well, just an 8 racks. This is what it is. And he's getting those tanks. He's getting the +1 upgrade. Hasn't started his +1 armor quite yet, which could be considered a mistake. Could also be considered, you know, a quirky little move. It's just an optimized build order. I don't think it's an optimized build order. I think he just forgot about it. I always love it when you're like watching a game and like one of the top players just makes a mistake. You know, like they're delaying their +1 for whatever reason, and you hear the casters going, "Oh, this is so smart! Look at this efficient play!" And you really thought about it. And you ask the player after the game, like, "Oh, I just forgot." It's like, all right. Might want to eat those words, Mr. Caster. I have it as well sometimes where I'm like looking at something like, oh, this worked out really well. Like this was really smart. And then I'll message the guy after on like Skype or Discord. It's like, man, that was such a cool move. It's like, oh, really? I can't even remember doing that. Must have been an accident. I'm like, ah, that's nice. You know, accidents do happen. Usually when accidents happen in my games, they exist of me hitting my entire Stalker force with a purification though, and other people, when they have a little accident, you know, they win the lottery. It's like, oh, I can't remember buying this lottery ticket. I guess I'm a millionaire now. It's like, well, that's great for you, buddy. That is just great for you. So this 8 Rex is going to hit with quite some power. The thing is that Solar honestly already has a lot of power as well, defensive power. He's lacking in creep spread, which I think most Zergs are lacking against someone like Maru. Ooh, Maru forgets to pick up. That's kind of sloppy. Not necessarily because losing 6 Marines is the end of the world, but that means that this drop can't put pressure on anymore, and that allows Solar to now move in. Solar has seen these extra barracks on the low ground as well, and I think he's mentally and well, honestly, physically ready for this. He has 76 workers. Hive on the way, could move into Vipers from here on out. Overlord speed, I'm not entirely sure about. Like, what's the dealio there? He's getting a Hydra then as well. We have those Liberators in production. Now, whenever you talk with Zerg players on how to fight off the Atrax, they usually tell me that playing a very Lingbane heavy style with no tech is the best, because it makes it real easy to counterattack, because you just have so many Lings and Banes. Hydras, Mutas are not as great at counterattacking. Mutas specifically are considered one of the worst units against the Atrax, because they don't fight against a very high Marine count very well. They cost a lot of gas, which means most likely you'll have less Banes as well, etc, etc, etc. So now Maru decides to move across the map. And like I said, usually what we see here is a massive counterattack to kind of kick things off it. This is one hell of a wall as well. He really tried his best. This is going to be a sizable counterattack. Just with the one tank, I don't think that the defense is going to be enough. Solar tries to move forward. I think he's going to need slightly more Banelings if he really wants to fight into this. Here comes the Ling run by. Needs to fight this tank. He's going to fight this tank. Not a whole lot of surface areas. These depots are going to get taken out. SCV's getting blasted as well. Solar with a very wise decision. He's a very wise player after all. He's going to give up this base saying, hey, I'm still on 4 bases after this. What do you really have? Well, 3 bases. So it's going to be 4 versus 3 in favor of Solar. Solar is teching as well, has the Adrenal Glands on the way, has Vipers coming out. So Solar is waiting for a lot of things that are going to help him, while Maru wants to kill his opponent before, well, all these things get researched. Oh, this is a nice position on the tanks, very quickly moving forward. Solar, despite the vision with the creep tumor, not quite aware of what was kicking off there. As a bunch of these barracks, they're still going to be capable of producing, but not for much longer. And Maru right now being forced to attack into this position much quicker than he ideally would want. Much, much quicker. Solar with the 2-2 about to finish up does have the Adrenal Glands 50 seconds away. I don't think that is actually going to finish. Where are the Vipers? Do we have Blinding Clouds? They're coming in from the side. It's a little bit late though. The fight is practically over already. Just one tank is gonna get hit. And I do believe that Maru here now pushing forward has a decent opportunity to potentially just straight up win the game. Army supply is 80 versus 55 right now. Tanks are still there in the back. GG gets called and Maru wins map number 2 despite some fantastic counterattacks coming out of Solar. Shot that fight a little bit too quick before the Vipers were ready. is going to pay the price. Honestly, the funny thing funny for us, not funny for Solar, but the thing that is kind of interesting in those last two games is that it didn't feel like Solar's position was that bad. It also didn't feel like Solar made a whole lot of mistakes, especially in this last game. The first game, you could say, he kind of got out multitasked, which is not necessarily a mistake in, you know, it's like he just gets outplayed. Well, there's like small mistakes that are being made, like you're slightly too slow, but it feels different. There wasn't any massive like decision-making error. He definitely was ahead, I think, in probably both early games. So yeah, it's just really impressive to see that kind of coming out of Maru. I'm definitely impressed. It's really difficult to beat players that don't make any mistakes when it comes to the decision making, because it's so common for people to mess up in that. Like, yes, StarCraft is a very mechanical game, but it's also a game of good decisions. Like, people who make better decisions tend to just win every single time. And yes, being very speedy is also necessary. Like, don't get me wrong. Multitasking is important, but it felt like all the counterattacks were well set up. The only thing I didn't agree with was perhaps the final fight and how quickly Solar just pretty much rushed into that. I feel like he probably could have waited a bit longer, but at the same time, his Netro is under heavy siege, right? So it is scary. It is very scary. I just think that if you get like 2 blinding clouds on there, like kind of as the fight starts, it's much better rather than rushing in and then having half a blinding cloud at the end of the fight. It's just not great, really. It really wasn't great. Nice Reaper grenade there, Maru. Just hitting yourself. I think that's quite what he wanted. Let's see what we're going to see out of him this time, though. Second gas going down. Second gas going down. We get a factory. Okay, so a 2-on-1 type of setup. I do like a 2-on-1 type of setup. You have a single worker still mining in that gas. The gas kind of got rushed out. Or, well, the gas mining kind of got rushed out. We saw a third worker being pulled into it very early, rather than just being rallied in. This is a move that we see a lot in Zerg versus Zerg. It's not as common in the Zerg versus Terran matchup. Reapers here, trying to deal some damage. Are dealing some damage. As there's going to be a third CC behind this. And the tech lab goes down. I think this barracks was going on a little adventure. It's these Marines. Oh! Ah, he tried to catch that Overlord with his barracks flying. Oh, that didn't quite work out. Reapers could actually be in some trouble here. 4 seconds away from finishing up this metabolic boost. Here we go. Yep, here comes Solar. Throws down a Bailing Nest as well very early on. Feels to me like we're gonna be seeing some shenanigans. Some Bailing shenanigans. Oh my god, his control is godly. Real nice. Reaper control swallowed there. Stayed alive for much longer than I think it should have. Not that many Marines out though. We have a Bailing Nest being thrown down. We have a gas, I guess, fully mining at this point. Yep, 29 workers versus 29 workers. Good luck, my friend. How are you gonna deal with this? Oh, first of all, how are you ever gonna scout this? That seems like the first, you know, the first task here on the to-do list is figuring out what in the world is going on. And so far, Maru has legitimately no clue at all. He's getting a Viking as a first unit from this starport. It's going to be great in the defense. Vikings actually deal some damage, but there won't be stim. We're working with a very low Marine count. It's going to be 7 Banelings busting in here. Oh, there we go. Lowers the depot. 2 Hellions are out. Should be capable of helping out a little bit, but they do get surrounded instantly. SCV's too slow with showing up, and I think this game just ends like that. I do not believe there is a way for Maru to come back into this. He just doesn't have enough production here. Does not have the ability to ever hold. He's going to lose the next Hellion as well. GG is going to get called. Solar takes 1 map here on Grassland with a quick Bailing Bust attack versus Maru's 3 Reaper opener. This is... Oh no, this is the Terran things of... Oh my god. He plays the freaking 2-Rex Reaper 3 times in a row, loses 1 game against the Bailing Bus, like, alright, I'm out of here. I'm done with this garbage. Proxy 2-Rex it is. This is the most Terran thing I've legit seen in my entire life. Is it like all Terrans do this as well? This is super early, by the way. Wait, this is going to be 2-Rex Reaper actually, but just proxied. Wow. All right. Okay, so this is definitely a different build than I was expecting. So it's still going to be a very heavy focus here on the Reapers. As I don't actually think you get a second refinery with this. But there's a massive cut here when it comes to the initial resources. Because this must have been a 13 depot, 14 barracks, 14 gas, 14 barracks. This is pretty significant. It really is. As we're going to see these Reapers start producing. I love this type of stuff so much. And I know I do this as well. You know, you play like 3 macro games in a best of 5. You lose the 3rd macro game, and in the 4th game, you're like, all right, we're all in. I'm not playing another macro game. You get all in yourself, you get punished. You're like, all right, you're gonna all in me, I'm gonna all in you back. You know, you pay back in kind. As SCV's coming from an alternative angle, we'll see if Solar is aware of that, because that is weird. It's kind of a... Well, I'm not sure if that's a bad move necessarily. It's just a weird move. Oh, because he wanted to show the bunker, actually. I think this bunker is bait. You're trying to force out a response from these drones, and the response is there. Now the Reaper shows up in the main base. This has been really well handled so far by Solar. I think the initial response is... It's just pretty much perfect. He's raiding this build exactly as it should be raided. So none of these drones right now is falling. We have good control in the early game. That's 1 Ling going down. That's another Ling that's gonna fall. Queen still very far away from finishing. This is going to be a couple of scary seconds. It really is. Okay. The pressure ends for now. At least the heavy pressure. There is a second gas, by the way. I thought this was just going to go into a fast 3rd CC, or natural CC, but that's not the case. It's going to be more Reapers here with a factory behind it. And the first Queen is in some serious craperinos right now. These Reapers are still alive. We have more of them on the way. He's diving so deep with this. Going for drones. 2 more drones go down. Could he take out some of these Lings? I think he can. Maru with some absolutely godlike control here in the early game. Hasn't lost anything. Killed 4... Wait. Where did another Ling go down all of a sudden? How did that happen? Well, it happened. As 10 Lings have fallen... 4 drones have gone down. There's still a decent chunk of time before Metabolic Boost finishes up. Yet, Maru is heading back home right now. I don't quite know why that is the case. But it is the case. Starport on the way. Back home as well. Reactor on the factory. It's of course going to help with that helium production. That most likely is going to follow this up. Mightily interesting here coming out of Maru. Very, very interesting indeed. This barracks is under some heavy fire from these Queens. Just gonna go in for a scout. Freaking love the texture here on the barracks on the side. You see that? Like this kind of blackened, like darker blue, making it look like it's been burned or something. You know, it's like, I mean, you have the flames. You know, surely that's gonna have an impact. The detail in everything, like in all the models of StarCraft, is fantastic. It really is sick. There are certain mods that allow you to like zoom in even further. It just looks so beautiful to me. It's crazy to me how nice it looks. You know, just everything feels so natural. If I had worked on StarCraft 2, that'd be on top of my resume. No matter what job I'm applying for. Now, whether I'm gonna be a burger flipper at the McDonald's or working in finance, you know, I'm gonna be writing that at the top of there. So like screenshots of the Queens. Like, look how it moves. Look what happens when I put on a creep tumor. It looks so good. We have a 4 mine drop coming out. So once more a focus here on that harassment. I thought it was going to be cars, but it's going to be delayed cars. It's still going to be cars at some point. So we have the armory on the way as well behind this. This is a very heavy investment into this type of... well, what even is this? Is this mid-game? Like, it's kind of early-game pressure still. And it needs to deal some serious damage as well. It really does. Now, these mines, they have a red laser coming out of their face. And That means that they're gonna go invisible after they're done. Good control here coming out of Solar. Solar doesn't need to clear all these mines in the next 10-15 seconds. It's gonna do just that. A decent investment. Is he really gonna follow this up with a Hellbat push? I'd be surprised. Third base has finished up. There's a Roach Horn on the way. Oh, is that in range? God, Solar is really good at this type of stuff. Look at this. 48 workers versus 34. Third CC now on the way, but that's all fairly late. How did those two... Oh, there was still a mine in the main, just as I'm praising him. That's kind of frustrating, actually. Lynx once again in the correct position. Solar actually playing some great StarCraft 2 here. Really is. I'm so impressed by his ability. This mine really does need to be cleared. It doesn't seem to have his priority right now. I think he kind of forgot about it. That could be big. Because if this mine is going to get a lot of kills, that would suck. No. Solar once again just paying attention to stuff. He is so good at this. He really is fast. He's fast. He's quick. He knows what he's doing. This Liberator is going to piss off. So we have another 6 Reapers now. They're gonna probably start jumping in towards this main base. There's not that much available to deal with it. This Lib is sieging up different bases. Quite frustrating, of course. Solar is rapid, man. This guy is quick. This guy is quick. Lynx perhaps in a bit of trouble, though. This is 6 Reapers. Roach needs to turn around, start fighting this. But with 6 Reapers, I think you can fight 1 Roach. Maru doesn't quite believe it. Maru also having a blast here, by the way, with that Lip just... Once again, there's kind of ping-ponging in between the bases. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Glower Reconstitution now on the way. Does feel like Solar is heading in for what seems to me an ill-advised timing attack. Reapers are moving in. Do we have a transfuse? Yes, of course we do. Of course we do. 2-3 Reapers will fall. A bunch of Lynx go down. 7 drones as well falling. That's actually pretty significant. Double Medifex now being sent out on the map. Forgot the Marines at home. Halfway across. Like, I feel like we forgot something here. If you forgot about it, then how important can it really be, right? As now he's gonna move out most likely with everything. Yep, there we go. Picks up these the leftover Reapers. There's 3 Reapers still there, as well as the Marines and the Medivacs. There's a bunch of Roaches coming out. 61 workers to 53. This drops heading in towards the main. Lynx are out already. Almost feel like you'd kind of want to maybe, perhaps, think about working towards just melee upgrades and just a couple of Ravagers initially. You know, just playing Ravager Link Bane. Doesn't seem to be the case if we do see the +1 range coming out. This fort base is not going to survive. I can guarantee you that. There's just not enough units out at the moment. Yeah. This is pretty painful because Solar is in a good eco position right now, but he needs to have the ability to saturate a fort base. It's not just about getting the drones out. Like, he can get the drones out. He has enough units, but he needs to have a fort base to saturate if if the drones want to be useful at all. So he's going to be building more Roaches. But it's not actually what he wants. He doesn't need more Roaches at this point. He needs drones and he needs a hatchery. And this hatch is really late. It really is. That's an issue. That's a massive issue, actually. Yeah, I don't think a 1-1 push is going to be viable here. There's 3 tanks out already. And we see there's also no, not the will here coming out of our Zerg player to go for that type of attack. I don't actually know what Solar actually wants right now, but most likely just gonna be focused on getting lurkers out at a rapid pace. Nah, this is not good. This is not good. Solar's gonna be stuck in, in this position for quite a while. He's getting the extra gases already. He should probably start working towards adding 7-8 drones, perhaps. But it feels like everything he's building right now... Good lord, just walked in his own bios. Everything he's building right now is kind of a unit he doesn't really want. Lurker then on the way. High 50 seconds out of 71. Not quite sure how to translate that to a percentage, but... Was that 5-7? I'm so bad at this type of percentage. Same with like 6 out of 9. I guess that is just 2/3, so that shouldn't be so hard. 5 out of 9 would be difficult for me. Yeah, like it is the 9s and the 7s. I'm not so great at the 13s, God, life's difficult. Mathematics is difficult. This hatch gonna get cancelled. That was the 5th base. And at the same time, it's gonna be a drop to the main, right? Yeah, this is a clean pickup. Gonna have to split your army. That means that your fort base is going to be a little bit vulnerable. Lurker's not quite yet in position. This is a significant Road Ravager force heading in towards the main. There's not enough Road Ravagers really to deal with this. We have a Liberator flying over towards the third base, and I don't think there's a Spore quite ready there. Means that this Queen is going to need to deal with it. Let's take a look at the first position here out of Solar. Pulls away immediately, of course. Of course he does. He's so fast. Lurkers are now done. Seismic Spines isn't quite yet, though. This base under some heavy fire. Lurkers are set up very far away. 13 drones have gone down. Wait, what? Was that just all over here, or... How did I miss that? It's not this Liberator. Liberator has 4 kills. I guess contributed a little bit. Maybe these 3 medevacs have something to do with it. Here come the Biles. Maru, of course, moves away in time. As always. 70. Where did the next 4 drones go down? Is that once again over here? Maybe this tank has something to do with it. 27. Oh, that's the drop in the natural right now. Solar not paying attention to that. Neither was I. Solar and I once again sharing something there. Well, actually, we don't share a whole lot. Usually he wins and I lose. That is not a shared experience, let me tell you. Yeah, these medevacs gonna get parasitic bombed over here. Poof, poof. Bang, bang. You're dead, but... That doesn't feel that productive I've ever seen one. His hatch is just toast. That's an issue, because there's gonna be a 5th base soon here for Maru. And there's gonna be 3 bases up for Solar. We have a Ghost Academy on the way. We have Vikings being produced. There's 9 tanks as well. These are big tank numbers. Maru can go back home. Can also just stay on the map. Maru can pretty much do anything at this point. He has full control of the situation. This situation is actually fully under control. Medevac's a little bit low though. There's only 3 medevacs. So that's not a whole lot of healing here. Has built some Vipers or Vikings as well to deal with the Vipers. Now we'll go back into this medevacs. +2 attack on the way. Almost done already. Love to see it. 2 ghosts popping out as well as these drops. Yeah, the problem is that these drops are just not going to heal up because there's no energy on these medevacs, you know? 17, 18 energy is not going to be enough. Oh. Let's see, can we move in forward here? Liberator is there, but Abducts are available, so is Parasitic Bomb. Of course, Lurkers will need to move back just a tiny bit. Gonna siege it up once more, can only imagine. It's gonna get cleaned up. Once again, all in the orange already. Gonna drop on top of this base. We'll get the cancel. That's big. That's real big. Because that's the base he needs. That's the base that Solar really needs. Well, actually, he's only 62 workers. Solar's probably fine being on 1 base at this point with the low worker count that he has. Closing a lot of creep though. He's just getting... He really is getting squeezed here. Oi. 5 more CCs on the way for Maru, who continues just kind of holding this position outside. Is adding in some turrets to deal with potential Vipers flying in. So that means that, you know, he's here for the long haul. Could unsiege instantly as well, as this tank is going to take out the roads and probably siege back up a little bit further back. Yep, there we go. Beautiful stuff. Personal cloaking on the way. About to finish up here too. As these links are going to get blasted by this little high ground army that's there. Solar's desperately trying to do something, but it's just not really working out. I think he has 1 fight in him. He's going to get a very high lurker count. Try to force his opponent's army back and then perhaps go across the map and try to get a W. Like, that is really all he can do. And this army is not really in position. Let's take a first-person view here from Maru. He's rallying these units back. Sees the lurkers coming well, from pretty far away. Now it's going to lose some tanks in the forward position. Gonna stick with the first person for now. Interesting to see how Maru is going to decide to kind of maneuver back and forth here. Still sees these lurkers that are over here in the watchtower range, of course. And here we go. First person out of Maru sends back a bunch of bio. Yeah, Ghost already in position. That's gonna be a lot of snipes. That is 1, 2, maybe 3, 4 lurkers that fall there instantly. That means that this push has no real potential anymore. There's 18 lurkers total on the map. Good EMP is gonna connect with both of these Vipers. Lurkers now move in. This is a lurker train here that is trying to take out Maru, and so far, I mean, the fight has been okay. He pushed in. There's no overseer, which could be bad. 10, 11, 12, 13 workers going down here. Lift forced. Supply 176 to 155. This is the only attack that Solar has in him, though. If this does not work, Solar is just dead. There's a lot of tanks back here, 3 of them, and they're dealing a lot of damage. GG's gonna get caught. I feel like Solar left a bit early. Am I wrong for thinking that this could be something for real? Hey, yeah. Because he left with, well, what was it, 5, 6 lurkers still alive? Well, there's a lurker in the back here as well, 3 more. You have this position under siege, 65 to 65. There are a lot of orbitals, of course, so they still needs to win, but I don't know. Maybe it was maybe it was over. It's easier for them to judge, maybe. Well, actually, it's not. It's easier for me to judge. I'm the guy that sees everything. I think he should have stayed in a bit longer, at least. Let the fight run its course. But yeah, that's going to be it. That means that the final that's going to be posted tomorrow in this channel is going to be Dark versus Maru here for the KSL Summer Slam. I hope you all enjoyed this. If you did, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. And hopefully I'll see all of you next time for a new video. Thank you so much for watching, and bye-bye.